Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Midnight Blues and Other Musings. Today we have a very special guest, Clematis RG from YouTube, who makes the most exceptional rhythmic gymnastics videos. And they also just made a Twitter account, and they will be streaming rhythmic gymnastics at the Olympics, which is awesome. Clematis, how are you today?
Hello, thank you very much for having me here. This is extremely kind of you, and I'm very excited to talk a bit about the new code of points, the gymnasts, everything. Yeah, every question. Yeah, thank you so much for this amazing introduction.
Yeah, no, we're so excited. Clematis actually followed us on our podcast Twitter account, and I saw the follow, and I got so excited, and I immediately had to DM them. So we've been chatting a bit this past week, and it's been awesome. I'm so glad that they made a public Twitter. So, Clematis, why don't we get started talking about Tokyo? Uh,
Yeah,
just a brief overview. We did get sent in anonymous questions through our Curious Cat, and we have a few related to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And we'll just talk about general Tokyo Olympic thoughts, and then I'll ask Clematis what their thoughts on the anonymous questions, and we'll also talk about the new code of points. So so we have a very simple question from a fan, and they're asking, Clematis, tell us who will win. I can't with the anxiety. So Clematis, tell us who will win.
yeah. Well, I think this is like one very anxious code of point because the mistakes can happen, and it's very like we've seen a lot of more diverse podium in the
Mhm.
past few years. So I
Yeah.
think many people think that the usual one, Dina Averina and then Haina Averina and then Lina Ashram winning maybe won't happen, and there will be like some kind of more different podium than usual. Well, I do think that there is that the usual podium that sort of everyone is expecting will probably happen if there is like
Mhm.
no mistakes made, or
Yeah.
like if they perform as usual. But if we see some situation like at the European Championships, then probably if if someone like, for example, Lina Elshram is making one mistakes, and Ashko can take over, or if Dina Averina, as we know, she's having some serious injuries, she might deal with some problems with her routine, then maybe the standing will change. But yeah, for individual, I think it's pretty fixed. Like there's six gymnasts who can hope for a medal, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for groups, I think it's a bit more generally difficult because there is so much that happened in such a short time. Like we saw the rise of Israel at the European Championships, and I was kind of expecting that based on how their routine were actually difficult, but I wasn't expecting it to be actually rising and actually the difficulty be taken into account. So we'll see, and there is much more groups that can hope for actually for gold than
Yeah.
yeah, it's and more mistakes can happen because like there is so much happening. I don't know how the judge can actually see everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. This is a very poor prediction. I know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the both of the sisters, Averina sisters, are both injured right now. Dina
Yes.
probably more so, more of a severe injury as we saw, and I guess that does factor in as to how they'll do in Tokyo. And their European championships will probably set a precedent for maybe a little bit of a different fight for that bronze medal. But it seems that the general consensus is that Linoy will take bronze, but you never know. Maybe Alina will get the bronze. We'll
We
see.
never know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really something because I mean, if she's doing everything, she's doing the best. Lena Ashram, if she's doing like difficulty correctly, for example, the one thing that is important, and it's a bit like very technical, but I don't know if it's interesting. They have both Arnashko and Nila, they are both like split pivot. I don't know how to describe it. And sometimes they actually executed the pivot either on flat foot or on a
Mhm.
releve, and
Mhm.
that's totally changing the difficulty. And this is something that very tiny. It actually doesn't really change the composition, but it actually can change from like a half a point or total point. So this is something that I always look at to actually know if there is like a big mistakes or if it can actually change everything. But yeah, I think I really don't know actually. And then there is like a whole set of different judges at the Olympics, so maybe it will be like totally different from the European. I yeah, this is a very yeah
Yeah.
kind of not very precise answer, but I
Yeah.
think yeah.
Yeah. On your Twitter, you provided a incredibly comprehensive and exceptional kind of overview about rhythmic gymnastics, and you also provided like this chart on the average AA and best AA score. So why don't we talk a little bit about that? It seems pretty clear based on your podium predictions, and they correlate very very
Yes.
distinctly to these average and best AA scores, and yeah, looks like a fixed podium unless injuries and mistakes happen.
Yeah, more or less. It really depends. I think like especially when I need to take a look at the score, but yeah, when I see like the best all around score, we can see that there is actually it's actually very close between Arena and Arnashko.
Yeah,
As so maybe it can like depends in because for example at the European Championships, Arnashko had a bit like of not like very big mistakes, but she had a bit of tiny little mistakes compared to Aina Averna, who did like kind of the competition of her life at the European Championships. So I don't know. It will really. I have the dream of like a very fair competition and everything. Everyone going cleanly, and we see the best will win. I don't know, but yeah, probably the twins and Linoy Ashram. I'm saying that, but maybe it would be like a very poorly aged phrase. I don't know.
that's a good answer. I think that I spoke to a couple of people, and in terms of group, they seem to think that 1 and 2 will be Russia and Israel. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 1 and 2 for groups, you say?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um, I well, usually I always do a kind of theoretical difficulty for groups to know a bit like where it's standing. I still didn't do it because it's actually crazy for groups and it's taking a lot of time, and I did that. But I really think it actually could happen because, well, um, I don't know. It's very crazy, but based on what we saw at the European Championships, I mean, Italy also could, Bulgaria they also could because they have also great routines. So it it's really I mean you can't really talk seriously about groups because
Uh-huh.
judge can't see everything, so it's a bit weird to say like yeah obviously they win because
Yeah.
they have the highest difficulty and if they
Yeah.
execute everything. But I don't know, we'll see. It's a mystery.
Yeah. We'll see. So why don't we jump into the anonymous questions that were sent in? So we have a very dramatic situation here. So very dramatic question too that I feel very strongly about, and I'm sure many people do too. What do you think about the whole Italian situation? Was the final decision right? And what about the mess before the national championships?
Well, yes, this is the question that actually like I got a lot also on Twitter, on
Uh-huh.
Instagram when I posted a story about like, oh my God, the judges actually didn't take account or like a line penalty, which is very obvious, an obvious mistake when the judges miss that because it's separate on the score, so
Uh-huh.
you can see if they actually counted it or not, like a fall in figure skating.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I think it was um, there were there were several things that were a bit weird
Uh-huh.
because I was asked whether sending Baldassari and Giorgio Colise or
Yeah.
Giorgio Colise and Raffaelli or Raffaelli and Baldassari was like the best choices. I mean, I'm not in the Italian Federation, so I
Yeah.
can't decide for them.
Yeah.
But the general feel was that, first of all, the situation with Giorgio Colise was a bit weird because
Uh-huh.
um, she was sent to Farah's Cup right after the European Championships, where obviously she had kind of bad situation because she had missed a flight and then she was not in very good form, and then they
Mhm.
were like sending her right away after at another competition to like decide if they would send her to Tokyo. So it was, she also changed her coach, so yeah, that was really strange. And then with Baldassari, who hadn't the occasion of going to many competitions, so that was also um, very, very, very weird. And then obviously the despite also the scoring and stuff like that, but the general thing that the Emanuela Macarani was saying about like the situation, and the fan were asking whether, oh my god, are you going to send Baldassari and Giorgio Colise or Baldassari and Raffaelli? And she was saying, well, we will decide the Italian championships. We will decide at the Fire Cups and we'll see. And then at the Italian championships, he actually said, well, it was actually decided a long before go. And this competition was just for like checking the gymnast. So I think it was more of how it was managed on a peer
Mhm.
side more than maybe internally. But well, I don't actually know what's behind the curtain. And then knowing if it was like the right decision to send Baldassari or Raffaele or Giorgio Colise, I don't really know if it's like right or wrong of
Mhm.
Baldassare and Giorgio Colese. I think it's more like if you wanted to send the veterans,
Uh-huh.
like the one who actually carried. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Uh, yeah, it's just like cat interruption, and yeah, it's more about like they wanted to give a sort of award for like, not award, but like I don't have the word, but like for the one who actually carried the team, the Italian senior team since 2017, where like Baldassari and Giorgio Colise won, yeah, world championships medal for the team, or uh, actually making the final. And in this case, Raffaele, because she has like very high difficulty, and
Mhm.
we saw it actually at the first European Championships where she finished sorry in the top eight. So it really depends on what they wanted to do, and
Yeah.
obviously what they wanted to do it was to uh, give a sort of, yeah, it's like the dream for athlete to go to the Olympics. So they wanted to repay that to Ajuju Koise. Obviously, probably maybe won't. It depends on where career will go, but maybe won't be there for Paris 2024 because rhythmic gymnastics is not always very long career. Depends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making like prediction, but I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is actually my stance on the whole Italian championships
Yeah.
because
Um, I remember like furiously sending tweets to people about the whole situation. Like, Macarini said the decision had been made a while ago before Italian national championships, and then
yeah,
the mother of Cantalupi, Gurova, had posted in a Facebook group saying that Sofia would not be in Tokyo, and then everyone was very upset about that. And then the Italian Federation liked to comment on Instagram saying Milena and Sofia would go to Tokyo, but that obviously was not the case. And people were upset. I also
yeah.
think that Raffaele has an incredibly huge fan base now on Twitter. I am a big Sophia fan, so uh, but I do understand what you're saying. I think that there is it does make sense to kind of repay the veterans, especially like you said, RG is not very forgiving in terms of longevity and like it's not a very sustainable sport. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately, and yeah, in the mind of how coach and how they view the sport. But yeah, I think it was really a tough decision to make because yeah, in 2020 it was really obvious it was going to be Baldassare and
Mm-hmm.
Adjo Jose, and then Rafael came in with this incredible routines and very high consistency actually, because you wouldn't expect that from a new senior. You would say,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, she
Yeah.
needs more experience and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think generally it was really badly managed on the point of view just like of um, public peer. Yeah, because um, yeah, and then also the I saw also I saw also the Italian Federation liking some uh, comment about like Rafali and Baldassari going to Tokyo, and then actually it didn't happen. I think this
Mm-hmm.
is really weird. But generally, I think if we go a bit back away in
Mm-hmm.
like what Macaroni was actually saying
Mm-hmm.
few months ago before the Italian championship, it was actually clear she was going to send Baldassare and Giorgio Colisi. She just wanted to see if Giorgio Colisi wasn't in too bad shape
Yeah.
after getting COVID, and also Baldassare after injury. But yeah, it was more about like she saw that Rafael actually was getting a lot of hype from a lot of fans, and that was a very great way of maybe promoting her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is me guessing from like maybe what happened, but I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know if you kind of were following what happened to women's artistic gymnastics within what happened at the Italian national championships where Georgia Villa, she was obviously going to be sent to Tokyo. That seemed very obvious.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did incredibly well at Italian nationals, but
Yeah.
she got injured, and it was so close to the Olympics, and she had to pull out. Um,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I remember like just being in shock that for both RG and artistic gymnastics, why is it so close to Tokyo? Like this is terrifying.
Yeah, I think the injury is even more terrifying because she was like actually making the team.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
whether Raffaele, I mean, this is also horrible because maybe she won't make it to Paris 2024. Maybe she will have an injury, and then it will be actually terrifying to think that she could have made it into Tokyo 2020, but then Arju Jukosi wouldn't have made it. This is just yeah, human being having their
yeah,
brain. It's yeah, it's horrible.
yeah.
I think
But
yeah,
you can truly never predict a athlete's like trajectory.
yeah,
They could be so well one season and then they'll have like a life, career threatening injury the next one. I mean, you follow figure skating. I follow figure skating. Obviously, we see that happen there. It happens in every sport. It's so
yeah.
unfortunate, but yeah, no. I'm definitely a big Sofia Raffaele fan. I know most people are. Beautiful, beautiful routines, beautiful gymnastics. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think just one more thing on
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
We will sure see her in the next year. But yeah,
yeah.
I think also she's really well prepared for the next coach. So this is yeah, she has very strong point. She was formed under this code of point who was like a heavy work for the apparatus, so she's really prepared for the next code. And obviously she also have the body difficulties will be more valued by
Mm-hmm.
all of them, but especially turns pivot as a so yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's if there is no injury, then she has like a very bright future ahead,
yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. Uh, so we have another question. This is like we're gonna be mostly hypothesizing on this, but I think it's a little bit easier to do this in rhythmic gymnastics. So do you know which of the top contenders at these games are likely to retire or continue competing afterwards?
So obviously I think, well, we don't know, but it usually happen.
Yeah,
It didn't happen once, but with Alina Kabaeva, but obviously the Avarenas twins will
yeah,
maybe probably retire after the Olympics. Usually what happens is that Irina Viner is saying, yes, well, they have few months to announce if they want to retire. And then if they want to come back, they can come back. They can come back, but then never come back. Actually, it very rarely happens. It happens. Yeah, there is Alina Kabaeva who retired in 2004 and then she came back in 2006. But yeah, this is not something you see every
Mhm.
day in
Yeah.
Russian gymnastics. And
This
then you
year, yeah.
no, sorry, it's
No,
okay.
no, you're good. You're good. Sorry. Also, this year has not been forgiving to the Avarenas. I think that for them, this extending Tokyo to 2021 has not been good for them at all. Especially when you consider their peak, and
Mm,
now both of them are injured. Dina more so. So it does suck. They're probably going to retire. I
yeah,
can't. Yeah.
this is it's actually really horrible because they had like very packed routine at the
Hmm.
beginning of 2020, and I was like they were like way ahead of everyone in 2020. Even me with mistakes it would have been, I would say, easier. Now they really don't have any rooms for
Hmm.
mistakes, I would say, to like catch the gold and silver in
Hmm.
my mind. Like there you have any, it's also really hard for Lina Yashan because before she had like very clear path to the bronze medal probably or even silver, but now you have like Anashko really catched up during the 2021. Like I didn't expected that, but then she like really helped her difficulty every competition. I was, oh, okay, you had it this and this. And so yeah, I think it was really tough for every gymnast who wished to go on the Olympic podium. And even Kalien too, she really
Yeah.
had a difficulty. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's putting a lot of pressure on this
Yeah.
with all this comp and the long pauses and everything. Yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Thank you for giving an insightful answer. We have another question. Hi, Clematis. How many code of points have you studied in depth, and do you have a favorite?
Oh, in death, I don't know. Not death, sorry. Um, well, the current one, obviously, and the previous one, so the one from 2013 to 2016. And before it was very, I was more reading it as a fan than as a judge, actually. So it was really like more, yeah, I have very, it's very blurry memories from 2009 2012 codes, but the current codes in some way, well, no, not the current one, but the new one reminds me a bit like of the 2009 2011 in the way it's constructing, and like they're trying to, I don't know, there is like nostalgic fans of the 2009 code, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the favorite one, I don't. I don't know. They all have very big advantages and
Mhm.
very like stuff I really don't like in the way. Like the current one is the fact that they are giving value to some apparatus elements that are actually easy when they are like, yeah, they're giving the same value to different elements. But it's also great because it really pushed the sport from like crazy difficulties. And I mean, in a way, it was really amazing to see that, but at the cost of some other stuff. Like, it's really, I don't have a favorite. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. Good answer. Good answer. Great segue into our next section. Why don't we talk a little bit about the new code of points? I know we kind of like briefly chatted about this earlier this week, but what are your general thoughts? And if you don't have too many thoughts, that's totally fine. It was released very, very recently.
No, I do have a lot of thoughts too, but I
Share.
won't. No, this is like I actually like just read through it very quickly, not like very carefully and stuff. But what I see is that they're actually limiting the current like work with apparatus you can do, which I think is a good thing because we like experience the highest, like the maximum of what we could do in routines, and this is good. Like it's pausing a bit, and we maybe will see more routine where it's like more, maybe more complex actually, elements that take more times, and maybe also a better execution, which would be very, yeah, like really great,
Mhm.
and also more breathing in the exercise. And we also have like the two dance steps, and we also have value for more pivots. For example, the attitude pivots is given like more value. I suppose
Mhm.
it's encouraging gymnasts to maybe don't have the back flexibility or stuff to do these pivots. I suppose pivots is like rotation, but and yeah, I think generally it's looking like a more well-rounded codes, still with a lot of apparatus works, but more well-rounded. And also, especially on the maybe, I mean, it's very, there is like an artistic score that will be given that is like kind of going back to the 2009 codes, but with actually, it's really similar to the current codes, the way it's the penalty. Like there is different name, there's different points, but actually there is no, yeah.
Mhm.
With it, I don't think it will bring much difference.
Yeah.
This artistic codes in terms of like artistic notation, because as
Mhm.
usual, this is like the very subjective part. This is like performance and interpretation in figure skating. It's
Mhm.
generally it's a bit messy and there's various interpretation like I think this is going with the music, well I don't actually, and so well I don't know, we'll see for
Yeah.
that, but yeah,
Yeah.
I actually like it, I think.
Yeah.
Or just like there's general little mistakes and like some people saw actually there was like copy paste in the new codes with like mistakes, but yeah. Like they just like copy paste everything and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. I will say I was honestly impressed comparatively when it came to like with this new code of points compared to like ISU communications, just based on how comprehensive.
really.
Yeah, because
I don't read ISAC Communication. Like
that's
I know
fair.
them
That's fair.
clearly, but
Yeah. I was like looking at the changes and like the corrections. And I was like, wow, this is incredibly impressive and also very transparent, at least comparatively, which is good. Because
yeah, which is sometimes a bit frustrating
yeah.
because the current code at least, I mean the new code is, seems more transparent, but the current code there is also like very detailed explanation, and you have like
Mhm.
slide newsletter with like examples in video and stuff. And the FIG is actually saying stuff and like, yeah, you must, there is this very clear example of what is correct and what is not correct. And then you see it in the competition and you actually realize it was counted when the 5G actually made like the exact same video of, no, this is not valid. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, why did it, why did you post it this video then? So it's like a clear explanation, very detailed, but then it actually nothing. It doesn't mean anything. So it's
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see the discourse people were having about LALA scoring under potentially under the new code of points?
oh no, I didn't see that actually. I'm
Yeah.
like fully in the Olympics and like the-
Yeah.
I didn't actually see, but I would, it would be really interesting like people starting.
Yeah.
Like do you have any like was it like very high or like I don't know because we don't have any.
Yeah, yeah. Have you been watching artistic gymnastics at the Olympics?
I actually have been watching only the finals events.
Awesome.
Not,
Yeah.
not the all around, but yeah, the
Yeah.
final events
Yeah.
because yeah,
Yeah.
it was really interesting. As I was very surprised to learn like there is no, just right before like you told me there is no like warm up on
Yeah,
the
there's
apparatus.
no touch warm-ups.
Yeah, such as warm ups. I
Yeah.
was really surprised, and then I understand that like oh my god, the whole, like not all of them, but some like, it was really looking rough, especially like Jade Carey, as I
Oh
understood.
my
Like
God, yeah, yeah. Terrifying.
yeah, it was really scary to look at. I was like, oh my god, is she going to land or something? When you don't know actually the jumps and how much twisting there is, because like I don't know anything about artistic gymnastics. I'm just looking for like the general aspects. But yeah, it was really really terrifying to look at.
Yeah. She looked like she was gonna cry after her first vault,
Yeah,
and I don't even know how she pulled it together for vault number two, but got like really really scary because it could have gone horribly wrong. She could have
Yeah.
been injured, and I'm honestly like happy that she, her dad is her coach, and that is like an incredibly disappointing and
Mm.
unfortunate moment for her. But yeah, I mean, floor finals were incredible for her. She is the Olympic champion, which is awesome. Good redemption there. Uneven bars finals was also a splat fest. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I was actually looking with a friend, and I was like, yeah, and even
Yeah.
we no, sorry, unparalleled bars. This is like a very beautiful event. I actually really love watching it, and we were like, yeah, this is. And then it started, and it was like, this is not looking as usual. Like it was starting with Tunisia, and we actually watch our routines from the national championships, and we are like, oh my god, she's missing some stuff, like even we don't really know it, but yeah, it was, oh my god. And yeah, and then the score comments, and we're like, oh, this is not the usual score. Yeah, this is the phrase from like people who don't watch artistic gymnastics trying to follow like seriously. But yeah, and yeah, the fact that they still don't have touches warm-ups, I don't know. I don't understand how this is possible. This is crazy. Like I did some like dance when I was younger, and like not get warm up in the room, or like I don't know. This is, I can't even imagine. And like doing like actually stuff on apparatus, and it's like very difficult element, and like you're running very fast, or you're doing like things in the hair, and I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting a bit involved with
No,
that, but
no, no. It's thank you so much. Yeah,
really.
I was like looking at a couple tweets from like gymnasts, and they were essentially saying that the Olympics is not catered for athletes. It's catered for television. It's catered for NBC. And like going into it, athletes don't know what's going to happen because it's unlike any other competition.
Yeah.
Because when you think about nationals or European championships, the audience is a lot smaller. The audience is obviously going to be more catered to
Mm.
fans of that specific sport. And I mean, with the exception of like nationals during US
Yeah,
nationals
very.
during Olympic, the Olympic season. But it is like clearly made for television. And I was like seeing that the excuse that that was being made is that, oh, like people don't want to watch warm-ups, yet there was like a 20-minute like medal ceremony. It's like no one really
Yeah, which I don't understand really. I
knows.
mean, as someone who actually don't watch gymnastics, I watch artistic gymnastics just like for very big competition, which are
Yeah.
like the Olympics, or if I can catch something. I I don't know, if you watch sports, like there is sometimes pauses, and even warm-ups, it can be interesting more than a very long medal ceremony. I mean, okay, if it's your favorite winnings, maybe you're very happy there is a very long medal ceremony, but warm-ups are also very interesting, and like they can do presentation of the gymnast, talk about like the stories, and I don't know, like I don't know. I'm not working in the television, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's
Yeah. So it was lovely speaking to you. I have one last question. What is your favorite event within rhythmic gymnastics?
my friend. Well, actually, when I first starting to fall in love with
Uh-huh.
gymnastics, it was actually the ribbons. Like most of
Ooh,
people, I suppose, because ribbons like very, it
very
was,
pretty.
yeah, very pretty, and there's like patterns, and you don't really understand what's going on. And the ball too, because also back in before like 2009, ball was associated with like flexibility,
Mhm.
like it was like a whole groups category. So I was like also very impressed by like the skills they were doing, and I was, oh my god, this is crazy how they can do. I have like such muscle strength, and at the same time so much flexibility. And so there was like balls, and then hoop, and then for some reason when I was much younger, I really didn't enjoy much clubs. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know why. I thought it was very scary as an apparatus, but yeah. This is well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember
Which
like
one is your favorite actually? Do you have like
you asked what's my favorite.
yeah, apparatus. Do you have like a favorite? No,
Hmm,
rope. Rope is
oddly
very
enough,
good.
I think I when I first started kind of getting into it, I really like ball and ribbon. Ribbon
Yeah,
because I think as a dancer, I think you just deviate towards it's so pretty. It's just
yeah. It's just
ribbon.
like the essence of it. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spirit of rhythm gymnastics.
yeah.
It's those
But
ribbons.
but now I'm actually kind of like a clubs fan.
Yeah,
I think
clubs are really cool.
yeah, really cool. One thing is though, I remember like I was watching like old rhythmic gymnastics,
Like how old? Was it like very
like maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I think rope is like the worst thing ever. It is like I think it's horrendous. I don't know why it was ever a thing.
well, I am a rope defender, so I
Why? How?
well, I think it's I mean it's like very I understand because I try doing rope and it's very like it's very messy. Like
Okay,
it's
yeah.
very difficult to actually master it. Like
Uh-huh.
they start very young with it. Like it's actually the young apparatus, like wood
Hmm.
hand ropes. Like they
Yeah.
get started gymnasts with it and balls a bit, and then you have ribbon and clubs. But yeah, I think it's very hard to make it look beautiful because
Yeah.
you just have this bit of string that is
Yeah.
like doing
Yeah.
stuff and you don't really see it on the TV, and that's the reason actually they decided to remove it for like senior and
Hmm.
then juniors and stuff. And actually a lot of not all of them but like a lot of freshman gymnasts didn't actually like much
Hmm.
working with this
Yeah.
apparatus, so I suppose they have the right to say we don't like this
Yeah.
apparatus
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair.
So yeah, but I think there is like I do understand like it's a bit like of not the most interesting apparatus, but there is like very brilliant routines. I think it yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do understand that some people really don't like it
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm such a big fan of
thank you.
your work. You make the most exceptional videos, and you do an incredible job at making the sport more accessible. And that's always so important. And I'm looking forward to being on your stream, watching the Olympics through your stream. I'm so excited for that. So, everyone, make sure to follow Clematis RG on Twitter and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Thank you so, so, so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope this was understandable and a great talk.
Of course, it's a lovely conversation. Thank you all for listening.